Welcome back, guys. In today's episode, I'll be giving you my top 3 dividend stocks I believe I'll be holding long term and will eventually contribute to my family and I living off dividends. So stick around. Alright, so as we do on this channel, I'm going to start with a portfolio update, which we're currently sitting at 338.37, and we've lost about 1%. And if you're new to the channel, what we're doing here is we invest $10 a day every single day into high quality dividend growth stocks. These are all of our current holdings. If you want to know why I selected these, just go to my past videos and take a look. But what we're going to talk about today is my top 3 dividend stocks that I think I'll be holding long term. And I want to lay out some criteria as to why I'm selecting these specific stocks. So the first being that it has to have competitive advantages, okay? It has to be a big brand. It has to have global recognition in some foreign stores, okay? The second being it has to have solid financials. So I need to see the revenue growing and the net income growing. And lastly, I'm going to take a look at the dividend stats. So I want to see the dividend yield, I want to take a peek at the dividend history, and I also want to see the dividend payout. So without further ado, let's get into the first pick, which is going to be Costco, okay? So if I scroll down to where I was just at, I want to show you guys the first check box here, which is the global recognition, okay? Look how many countries that Costco is currently in. Okay, they have 590 locations in the United States and Puerto Rico, 107 in Canada, and then just a handful in all of these countries. So what we're seeing here is that there's tons of growth still to be had here. Another thing that I find interesting is that there's 124.7 million cardholders. Guys, I know in the United States it's $60 minimum for a membership at Costco. So if we were to just assume $60 times 124 million, I think that's something like $7 billion. So the first box is already checked. So I want to take a look at their financials, right? Let's look at their total revenues. So in 2014, they were at 112, 2019, 152, 2021, 195, and then last year they were at 226. So guys, it looks like they're growing about, I don't know, 30 each year. So that's pretty good growth so far. Okay. Now let's take a peek at their net income. 2.6, 3.6, 4, 5, almost 6. This is another thing that's absolutely rapidly increasing. And the last thing that I like to take a look at, let's go over here to this tab where you're going to see their dividend yield is very low, so 0.73, but I think there's still tons of growth to be had here. If we go to their dividend tab, let's look at their dividend history. So their dividend history, 18 years of consecutive increase, okay? And then if we go over here, the sector median is 6.45. They're growing at 13.76%. So they're raising their dividend fairly high over a period of time. Okay? And if we look at their 10-year dividend history, they just pay this thing out and they just keep raising it, right? So they're at 90 cents this year. 2020 they were at 70. So that's really good growth out of Costco. I love Costco. So let's go over to my second pick here, which is going to be McDonald's, okay? And obviously McDonald's has global recognition. They're going to check off that box right away. I want to take a look at this. I think this is an interesting little map here of all the McDonald's locations throughout the whole world. What I find interesting is there's barely any in Africa, and these Western Asian countries over here, they have tons in China, there's tons in Brazil, and obviously they're on every block in the United States. But I still think there's a handful of countries that there can be extreme growth, like India, Australia. I think even Mexico, they can get some more. So I think that McDonald's is just a superpower. They're going to keep growing, and really there's no stopping them. And I love McDonald's. Don't tell me that you don't love McDonald's, because I know if I were to take you to a drive-through at McDonald's, you would know your order before I even pulled up. Don't lie to me. I know you know that, okay? So let's get into their financials. Yes, I love McDonald's, guys, okay? So let's look at their revenues, okay? 2014, they were at 27. 2016, they were at 24. 2019, they were at 21. They had a bad COVID year, and then they started to rebound. I think they're going to really rebound a lot. They kind of did a little bit of that rebranding, and they've got that new purple fellow who's going to help explode instead of that clown. So let's take a look at that net income, 4.6, 5, 5.9. So this tells you a little bit more of the story. So they're on pace this year for almost 8, which is really good. Okay, so if we go back to the summary here, their dividend yield is 2.11. I like that. I think that's fair. Their PE ratio is 24.89, which is great to see. That's where you love to see that. So far they've checked, I want to call it 1.5 boxes, because that revenue wasn't fantastic. It could be better. Let's take a look at their dividend history here. They've increased their dividend 21 years in a row. Okay, look at this, guys. That's pretty crazy to me. That is pretty crazy to me. And that's what I like to see. I think McDonald's is a very safe company being invested in. And their 1-year dividend growth rate, they're at 9.39, which beats inflation. Okay, the sector average is 11. I think that McDonald's can afford to boost it up a little bit. Okay, now let's talk about my last company here, and it's going to be Microsoft. I love Microsoft for a handful of reasons. I think that 322, a lot of people say that's a really high trading price right now, but I'll get into that in a little bit. Now, everyone knows Microsoft, okay? You probably have come across Microsoft a handful of times and either knew it or didn't know it today. So they obviously check off that competitive advantage with the global recognition. They're everywhere. Let's take a look at their financials, right? So they were at 93, 91, and then it just absolutely explodes. They go from 96 in 2017 to 211 in 2023. That's absolutely crazy. They're out of their minds down at Microsoft. Look at their net income. They were at 12, and then they went to 39, and now they're already at 72. So Microsoft is absolutely crushing it, right? And again, it's just the same story as Costco here, where they don't have that high dividend yield, 0.84%. I wish it were higher, but if we go over here to their dividends, their dividend history, they've raised it for 18 consecutive years. This is a company that I believe is going to be a dividend king, okay? This dividend, it's just not enough. Guys, it's just going to keep going up. You might as well get some skin in the game now and try and acquire as many positions in Microsoft as you can, okay? So the sector average is 1.4. They're at 0.96. They get a C- from Seeking Alpha. But again, like I just said, I think it's going to keep going up, up, up. And why I think that Microsoft is going to keep going up, 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 and this $322.93 price is fair value now is because of this right here. So Microsoft is trying to acquire Activision. And if you don't know who Activision is, Activision Blizzard is the ones who make all of these very familiar games. Guys, I don't play video games. I did back in the day. I used to love Call of Duty. I had some people like World of Warcraft. Everybody knows Candy Crush. I don't know what Diablo, Hearthstone, or Overwatch are, but I'm sure that they have a huge fan base because Activision Blizzard just pumps out great games, right? So this right here, Microsoft Activision acquisition has only 2 countries left to convince. So what are they convincing people of? Well, they have to convince Australia and the United Kingdom that they're basically not creating a monopoly within the gaming world, because acquiring Activision Blizzard on top of Microsoft games already, that's a pretty big deal. So they could totally destroy a market. So that this 322 price, this could absolutely skyrocket if this goes through, this Activision acquisition. So 322 could go way up. So that's the list, guys. We're going to go Costco, McDonald's, and Microsoft. Thanks for watching.